we talked about different companies and different use cases. Some of the use cases that we come across are, so they're nascent, but people are trying to go into those where they want to stretch their applications across different substrates. When I say different substrates, they will have like some of the people we talked to said that, yeah, we want our control plane to be on-prem, but some of the workloads can be on the cloud. So that's sort of now inherently introduces another network layer as well in the middle. I know there are abstractions that can sort of manage these things for you, but for a plain user or a customer who's trying to make that decision that if I have multi-cloud environments or hybrid environments, will it add more to my cost to have observability across these environments? Or will a one-size solution sort of fit all, which we already said might not. But what's your take on these geographically distributed environments, if I must say?
We charged, when you bought our like enterprise plans, we early on charged based on the number of clusters. And we walked it back because we got a lot of pushback on that. We saw people, like it wasn't fair to the customers because sometimes you'd have customers who would have like 100 clusters, but each cluster would have like 3 nodes in it. And then you'd end up charging them more than another company that has like 1,000 nodes, but it's only in one massive cluster. So like, I think you shouldn't, like, I think both deployment models, like in the number of clusters you have and all of that, are valid architectural choices. And there are real good reasons why you would choose to go with one way or another. Hopefully that doesn't impact your choice of observability tools just based on building that like on cookie cutter building that doesn't take your needs into account. And I do want to add on something just also about this. I'm what you would call a Kubernetes maximalist. So I believe that Kubernetes, for various reasons, that Kubernetes or something very similar to Kubernetes is the future. And increasingly, I think the choice that you have to make is, am I building applications that run on the distributed operating system known as Kubernetes, or am I building applications that run without something else? And if you go back to like the early days of Windows, like you have to decide, am I writing something that runs on like application that runs on a microprocessor without an operating system, or am I writing an application that will run on Windows or Unix or whatever, and then I can run it on any hardware? So the hardware here is either on-prem, or the hardware is like AWS, or the hardware is GKE. The hardware might be a different Kubernetes data center in different places. If you're targeting the operating system that's Kubernetes, the distributed operating system that's Kubernetes, then you have a lot more flexibility. I'll give an interesting point here, something unusual that people don't usually think about. Recently in Azure, this past week, they ran out of, they ran out of instances of a certain type. They had, like, there was an issue, I guess, with the capacity planning, and they did this past quarter. And I don't remember if it was instances or IPs, but I think it was instances. They like literally ran out of instances in their data center, because it's like nice to think we're running in the cloud and it's like up there. But no, really, it's like someone's data center and there are server racks, and they do capacity planning and they build out the right number of servers, and they have like trucks that bring in those servers, and they hook up like the automated fire extinguishers. And there's a shortage in the physical data center in a certain location. So maybe you chose to run on that specific hardware, which in this case is AKS. But like if the hardware isn't there, like you're going to want the ability and the flexibility to take another machine somewhere else. And if it's running that same operating system called Kubernetes, then it's all good. Your application runs on Kubernetes. It doesn't matter which Kubernetes, where it is.
That's a great example. I think people would really relate with that.